Oh dear. Welcome to My Life, My Choice, coming to you live from Las Vegas, Nevada. My name is Dr. Wendy Dearborne, and the hour is 1 p.m. And I'll be your host for the next 60 minutes today, maybe a little longer. My co-host, Olivia.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay, all right. Because I was just about to say my co-host is having technical difficulties, which we all could actually hear.
I know. I was trying. I really didn't care. I just wanted to let you know what was going on. I didn't, and that's the truth.
Oh dear God. No, it was the all the, I don't know what all that stuff was that was going on in the background. There was because I heard you before, because I could hear you loud and clear before.
Okay, no, because I couldn't hear anything. My headset, it was just completely dead. I still don't know what it was, because I was thinking, oh well, I'll do it with just on the iPad, but that meant you'd hear all the ambient sounds, and you know how loud people are around here, so it's like
yes. So anyway, darling, to the listening audience, welcome to the show. This is our last show for 2013, not our last show on air, but our last show for 2013, as next week is Christmas Day, and we will be observing that, and the week after that is New Year's Day, and we'll be observing that too. So we will actually be back with you. Yeah.
2 weeks off. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, you do. So
then you'll be working you like a dog when I'm back.
Exactly. I'll be working like a runaway that got captured. Trust me on that one. So so the next show I believe will be do I have my calendar here? Do you know, ironically, I do have my calendar here, but it's the question of, can you see what's going on in the calendar, Wendy? Can you see it from there? Calendar. So the next show will be January the 8th, which I actually thought it was, but I thought,
Is that, are you looking at the right thing? Is that 2014? Or
that's January the 8th, 2014. I'm looking at calendar now, so it's up close so I can see it. Okay. Well, no, today's show we're going to be talking about time, but before I get to that, Liv, how are you, darling?
No, I'm fine.
You know, right? Yeah. Well, I know my parents have visiting for Christmas, so how are the Wrinklies doing?
Yeah, no, they're fine. They're okay. They seem to be. Mum seems to be causing a little bit of friction at the moment. In the Sylvester household, it seems. I'm not there, so I don't know. It's just stuff I'm seeing on WhatsApp that's coming through. And Michael wrote something on Facebook which I found really amusing. So I think all in all, for me, it's pretty good. It's hilarious.
You lot are so wrong. Do my like that. I'm gonna have to read that and see what Mr. Sylvester wrote. So outside of that, love, business-wise, everything going good?
Yeah. Not too bad. I sent that thing off today, so that should arrive tomorrow. And
yes. I spoke. Oh,
you did? Okay, cool. Okay.
I did that. Look, we're taking care of business here, online business.
Okay, so I'm going to break down. So, how are you?
Yeah, well, do you know, Liv, I keep procrastinating and keep going on.
Answer the question.
You know,
you might as well just answer, because it's not often. So, okay, let's start again. How are you?
Well, given that you actually asked me, wait, I'm going to answer. But given that you actually asked me, but it sounded like you were under duress. Yeah, I'm fine. I'm fine. No. What you need to do is ask me with a caring attitude, and it didn't come across like that.
I was going to say. So I've got to ask you how you want me to ask you. You see, this.
You bloody right, you do.
Wait. This is why we have this problem, right? We have a communication issue.
No, so it's okay. No, I'm doing all right, love. You know, it's as it goes, as the crow flies. You know, it's been for me a brilliant year, both in the things that I've accomplished. You know, like my book, etc. So it's been a really, really good year for me. And as this show actually is about time, and I'm literally talking about time because a couple of people, they sort of, hit me up with things, and they started talking about string theory and the M theory, and this show can go all sorts of ways, which it can, but really and truly, whichever way you slice it, whichever theory you're looking at, time is just that. It's time. It's time. So this is what the show is about today, time. So let me just read the synopsis instead of reviewing what my nephew was talking about my mom. Right, there are 31,536,000 seconds in a year. That really and truly is 525,600 minutes that make up a year. That's a whopping 1,440 minutes in a day. And of course, there's 24 hours in a day and 60 minutes in an hour. As I wrote in the synopsis, I could actually ask you the question, what have you done with the last 525,600 minutes of your life? And as a choice expert, which is what I am, and Olivia is an expressions coach and artist, so as coaches, which is what we both are, it would be counterintuitive, or at least I believe it's counterintuitive, to ask you that question. The question that I'm wanting you all to actually ask yourself, whether you listen to the end of the show, whether you listen to some of it, none of it, or just this portion, the question that I'm wanting you to ask yourself is, what are you going to do, or what are you wanting to do? Wanting being the key word, to do with the next 525,600 minutes, or the next 31,556,000 seconds. Time, for me, is the most precious commodity that we have. Time is the most precious commodity that you have. And having a conscious awareness of this particular fact, it's not fiction. It doesn't change. See, we did a show about fact and fiction earlier this year. Last year, sometime last year, we did a show about fact and fiction. So having a conscious understanding that time is the most precious commodity that you have, and it's all that you have, will give you a greater understanding of what it is that you can do with your life. Again, there are so many different theories out there that because you were the first one to talk to me about string therapy. I think it's string.
Very.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you remember anything off the top of your head about that?
Do I remember anything off the top of my head?
Do I need to give you a minute?
Well, it's kind of like as it sounds. I mean, that there are strings connected to this, that, and the other. I can't remember off the top of my head. When I have to get into the zone to do that, and I wasn't anticipating that. But I do believe it's about now I've got to get into the zone, Wendy. But basically, I think, don't quote me because I'm not 100. But basically, everything is connected to by strings, and that I think that's the way that we communicate.
So, in what you're saying, whether it's concurrent with that theory, what you're saying is that everything is connected, and it's connected. The connection can be seen by energetic strings. My thing.
And the way they oscillate and yeah.
Okay, so the way they move.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. And the way that they move, the way they oscillate and resonate will depend on the type of interaction. Yeah.
Yeah, well, everything being connected in the way that, for me, the way that communication happens, whether any kind of communication, whether it's how you taste something, how you feel something, how you think something, how, like sometimes you're thinking about someone and they phone and all the rest of it. That's I think, do you know, Wendy, I really have to get in the zone for that because I haven't done that in ages. Sort of like I've been doing other things, but yeah.
Okay, all right. Well, there is nothing like conscious awareness of the moment or being in the now to bring home the fact that time as we understand it to be and as we relate to it, as we understand it to be and as we relate to it, only appears relevant. Time only appears relevant to us with how fast or slow we perceive the tangible clock to be ticking. Our awareness is showing us one thing and one thing only, that we are not in the sequential flow of our lives. And I guess that if the string theory, what you're saying, what you're talking about, this is what I'm talking about here, that the sequential flow of our lives. When we're actually in the flow, totally immersed in what we're doing, feeling, thinking, when we become so lost in what we're doing that we become at one with it, this means that our whole focus and attention has become immersed in the very nature of what we are doing. We become a part of, and for me, a resonant part of what we are doing, rather than being on the outside and being attached to it and watching the resonance. See, because when we become a part of something, when we become immersed in something, what happens is the very nature of time as we know it falls away. And then when it falls away, things become timeless. It has no meaning. And truthfully, it has no relevance other than you being in the midst of it. I can liken this to being in the eye of a storm. You are literally untouched by everything that's going on around you. Yet still you are you're enmeshed in it. But there's a quietness and a solitude and a peace within the eye of the storm. Nothing can touch it. And for me, this is where that we should live our lives from, in the eye of the storm. And I say storm because, as I say on the show weekly, we cannot control people, places, and things. The only person that we can control, the only thing that we can control is who we are and how we show up. That's the only thing that we can control. So when I say the eye of the storm, what I'm literally meaning is that as you are living your life and things are circling or spiraling or whatever it's doing around you, you are the central focus of your life. But that's a whole nother, well, no, it's not. Actually, it's really quite relevant. And it's really quite relevant to you and time. It's really quite relevant to the next 525,600 minutes of your life. You know, when you break the time down like that, for me, Liv, it gives me pause. You know, I'm like, wow. And I think to myself, that's not really very much. But in reality, when it's broken down like that, for me, it made me realize how infinite time is, and how time only becomes relevant based on how I interact or choose to interact with life, and how I you know, how we mark everything. You know, your birthday. Well, you're going to be 60, or you hit 50, Teresa. You're over the hill. You know, you're over the hill, and all these stipulations that are put on, and I say put on us, all these stipulations that we embrace based on the whole nurture nature theory, based on teachings, and yes, I can see where time has relevance, and yes, it does. Everything has a season. But we live our lives as such that time dictates what we do instead of we dictating what we do with time. We've allowed time to dictate our lives. Almost like hamsters on that bloody wheel. You know, go get this, go get that, go get this, go get that, go get this, go get that. You know, and you reach 80 and you start cooking for your grandkids and they start complaining. you reach 80 or whatever age it is, and then you realize it's all BS. You realize that it's all BS. And so for me, what I'm saying to you guys is, your time is as relevant to you as you make it. When I say make every second count, I'm saying to you, immerse yourself into what it is that you are wanting to do for your life, in your life. Immerse yourself into it so deeply that time no longer has relevance, that it falls away. And you know, this is like, you know, when you read a book, you know, you're reading a book, and take, for instance, which has happened to me on numerous occasions, you know, you're reading a book, you put on your quinoa, you put on your rice, or you put on your noodles, and you read the book, and, you know, like the rice should have come off max 30 minutes. An hour later, you realize that this time has fallen away. This time has gone because the rice is burnt. And the only way you know that is because you smell it. Another sensory organ kicks in to pull you back into the very nature of the thing that you're trying to get away from. So what I'm saying is, use one of those 31,500 and 36,000 seconds to create what it is that you want. As we believe it or don't believe it to be, the clock is definitely saying tick-tock. And that's our belief. That's our belief. Time is something that is definitely nature. It's definitely nature. And you see this by the way in which things grow. The growing cycles, the seasons. And there's a season, as they say, a season and a reason for everything. There's a season and a reason for everything. But within that season, you can, should you choose, create what it is that you are wanting for your life. Time is the essence, and there's much truth to that, but not in the way in which we have been told. Tick tock, there goes the clock. Time is of the essence, because time actually equates to you and, for me, the choices that we make. So, Liv, thoughts?
Yeah. Funny when you said essence, what actually came to me was essential senses.
Hey.
But that's time really, because the time of nature and human time, they're actually two totally different things.
Mm-hmm.
Human time, it's relevant, but it's actually not relevant at the same time because it's interfered with. I mean, how can you have daylight saving? If, how can an hour be taken away, an hour be added?
Mm-hmm.
It's not a
natural.
Yeah, no, and it's not a solid foundation, really. I mean, if it can be, if someone in their infinite wisdom says, okay, well, this is what we need to do, then who is that someone?
Mm-hmm.
It's not nature saying it; it's a person saying it, and no, you will. I'm sure if we go back in history, go back, you'll find because it's economically viable to do that.
Yeah.
It's not about people's biological clock or anything like that. I've forgotten the word that I'm looking for. It's nothing to do with that. It's totally about an economical thing. And there are times when you actually traverse time, because there are times where I mean, have you ever lost a day where it's like you're wrecking your brain trying to think, what the hell did I do on Tuesday?
Yeah.
It's Tuesday. I thought it was Tuesday. Everyone's saying it's Wednesday. You look on the calendar and it's Wednesday.
Yes.
And it's like, where the hell did it go?
Yes.
And that's like, I think
yes.
like living in the moment.
Mm-hmm.
For that, whatever day that was, you were very much living in the flow. You're in the flow, the universal flow. And that's why that it wasn't, and it takes like mental energy to recalibrate and figure out, where that time has gone. And that in itself shows you that it's, in a way, it's relevant, but it's not relevant at all.
Exactly, Liv. Exactly. No, actually, were you going to say anything else?
No.
No? Okay. All right. One of the things that you said here is that time, as we know it to be, is really man-made. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
It gives up a false reality of your life. It makes you feel like you only have a finite amount of time to achieve whatever it is that you've been told that you really need to achieve.
Actually, also, when it's kind of like says, you have a finite amount of energy that you can expend upon a particular thing that you're actually doing at whatever it is.
And that's very true. I.e., you have a finite amount of time to get your degree. You have a finite amount of time to have children. You have a finite amount of time to, I don't know, to
eat.
To eat. There you go.
Everything.
There you go. Everything. And so everything has been broken down like that. Now, is it a good thing? A bad thing? I don't know if it's a good thing. I don't know if it's a bad thing. I do know it's a thing that we live with. I do know from personal experience, both personally and professionally, that because of how people are interacting with time and they're not in the flow of time because they're looking at the tick-tock of the clock, they are unable to literally immerse themselves into what it is that they are wanting to do. Because somewhere in their mind, they have programmed that if they do this, time will run out. Well, you see, time is infinite. Time is infinite. Somebody mentioned also, about parallel lives and quantum leaping and...
Was this somebody, Drew?
No, it wasn't Drew. No, it wasn't Drew. Because I hadn't spoken about the show. I hadn't spoken about the show. It was since I posted the show.
Oh, okay.
So when I saw Drew, which is why I'm saying that, when I saw Drew, it wasn't Drew who spoke about that. We didn't actually speak about the show. But yes, they spoke about that, and you know they mentioned some of the information that Pamela Osley had done on the show, you know, about living in parallel lives and things of such. I recognize that because time really is infinite, and actually that's our word for it, because in reality there's no such thing as time. There's just energy and what we do with it. There's just choice and what you choose to do with that. There are things that happen, and it's what you choose to do with those things. And then how you quantify it, how you choose to quantify it. So yeah, people can live parallel lives. People can do quantum leaps. It also rolls into, if this is something that you believe, if you truly do perceive it, you will conceive it. If you believe it, you will conceive it. It will be made manifest. And you see, that's the other thing. Ever you spend your time believing, whether it be in the tick-tock of the clock or whether it be immersed in things that bring you infinite joy, whatever you do, whatever you spend your time doing. I forget what I was saying now. Come on, help me, darling.
Oh, age is a terrible thing. Oh,
as they say, the brain is a terrible thing to waste. I was going somewhere with that, you know. I was going somewhere with that. But you know, that just flew out of my head. So you know, I'm going to be in the moment. I'm going to go in the flow. I'm not going to lament. I was so immersed into what I was going to say that when I popped out to try and string it together, that I then was outside of the moment, interacting with the moment from outside. How's that for a comeback? That's all right, isn't it? That was okay. And it's true, but very true though.
Yeah,
very true.
That's very true.
Very true. It was very true. So that being said, I know I had been speaking about people, you know, living parallel lives, and I mean, you can check out those shows with us. One was in May, I think 3 years ago or 2 years ago, 2 or 3 years ago. And there's much to be said, as I was saying, about I was going into the power of the mind and utilizing the power of the mind. But upshot is there is no time. Let's actually apply it. It gives you the ability to quantify. It gives you the ability to quantify where you can actually see what you have done with the choices that you have made in X amount of, quote unquote, or quote end quote, time. It allows you to quantify. Now, time for me, I was saying, is neither good nor bad. It just is. It becoming good or bad is how you actually choose to perceive the tick-tock of the clock. And again, awareness of what you are wanting, awareness of who you are wanting to be or who you are. This is paramount to how you will interact with your definition of time. And I actually think that's really important, saying that your definition of time is really, really, it's all that there is. One of the things that I was going to say about, I need to actually pull this up. So yes, Olivia, I'm going to be doing several things at once. One of the things that I wanted to say is that many people actually, make make New Year's resolutions. They make New Year's resolutions, and they don't actually achieve them. You know, January, as I wrote for this magazine, you know, January 31st rolls round, and it's like, Happy New Year, you know, and everybody's sort of singing Auld Lang Syne, and you can hear that, and you come out the gate, and you know, you're like, I'm going to, yes, this year I'm going to do, you know, I don't know, I'm going to lose weight, or I'm going to stop smoking, or, you know, I'm going to stop whatever it is, or I am going to do whatever. I am going to do this, I'm going to do that. And, you know, fast forward, it's the 5th of January, 8 a.m., and the wheels have already fallen off. For most people, is the second day. By the third day, the wheels have fallen off. And they've done research into this. And 50%, and I'm gonna just do a sweep. 50% of all people everywhere who actually make resolutions, by the second day or the third day, it's done. It's a done deal. In the United States, they say that 139 million people actually make a resolution, and out of that, actually that's not true. It's double that. See, I'm all prepared.
Sounds like it, darling.
I am prepared. I've got my calculator. Right.
Oh, I was thinking preparation. You would have had the figures.
No. They're in front of me. They're in front of me. Shut up, Olivia. No, okay. It rolls down like this. According to Dr. Richard Wiseman, he's a researcher. Actually, he's out of some university in London, but he's done work with them. Let's put it this way. And he is a researcher into the public understanding of psychology, which I actually thought was really interesting. The public understanding of psychology. He went on to say that 50% of all Americans set New Year's resolutions. He goes on to say that 39 million people, and that's 88%, actually fail to follow through with their commitment within days of January the 1st, which is true. Where I'm going with this in time is, should you want to choose for yourself something that you want to do with your time, and your time is essential. Your time is the essence of who you are. And the essence of who you are actually is timeless. There is no time on the essence, the you that never dies. Even the body, you know, even the body goes back to whence it came from. And that came from an energetic source. And whichever way you want to slice it, if you want to say it came from the word had to be an energetic force being expelled, if you will, from God. And that energetic force, those words, those vibrations, those resonant frequencies came together to formulate the physical and tangible body. As I said in a recent show, I can't remember which one, I spoke about expansion and contraction. Expansion is the word. Contraction is seeing the word made manifest. So time for you really and truly isn't relevant unless you want to quantify it. So where I was going with this is a lot of people actually put pressure on themselves, and they don't even realize how much pressure they put on themselves when they make New Year's resolutions and they don't make them properly. They make a New Year's resolution that's really abstract. You see, if you want to see it, your New Year's resolution, in the tangible, in the contracted form. If you want to see it as it can pertain to a season, nature's season, or man-made season, or man-made time frame, tick-tock goes the clock, you actually need to have an end in sight. You need to have an end in sight. And with that end in sight, you need to be smart about how you're going to achieve it. So the upshot, and I'll get back to the whole smart thing in a minute. I have to write that down. The upshot to this is where I'm going is many people will start out by saying what they're going to do with their time for the next year. And there are people, I mean, at the end of the day, 88 and 2, that's 90, 12% of the people hit it. If I got that right. Did I get that right? Yeah, 12% of the people hit it. So that being said, for the others that don't, what happens is there's an emotional correspondent that's attached to this. And this emotional correspondent says several things. But above all, if you were sincere, if you were really sincere when you were making your resolution, what it most likely will turn around and say is, I failed. And that in itself sets up a whole discordant energy that can actually start the foundation of your year. It can start the foundation of your year. So as you choose to use your time, which is, for me, my personal opinion, your most precious commodity. You see, because you're timeless. If you choose to make a New Year's resolution, then make sure that it's something that is smart. And by smart, I've written it down. It's an acronym. I know many people have seen this, but make sure that I call it a smart J, the letter J. So here's an example. All right. Here's an example of a smart goal, say for 2014. I want to lose 15 pounds by August of 2014. And I want to do this by incorporating better eating habits and walking for exercise. This is a smart resolution. I want to stop smoking. And I want the cessation of smoking to be over and done with by February. And I'm going to go to the vapor inhaler, the vapor cigarettes, and wean myself that way. This is a smart goal. Unless you're able to say, I'm going to stop smoking by my birthday and that's it, and you know that you can click in and click off that way, this is not such a smart goal. If you don't know yourself well enough to know that you actually need support in doing this would not be a smart goal. Another smart goal is to say, I want to lose 20 pounds next year. Okay. And what does that look like?
Well, one of the things that when you started talking about this that I had written was that one of the things you're talking about is losing weight. I'll come back to that in a second if I remember. Mm-hmm. But I think you've kind of like said this. Maybe like your resolutions. You make your resolutions and they happen, mm-hmm. but they can happen as a metaphor or as a subconscious life reaction, like in a code. Mm-hmm. So say like, you say, I want to lose 20 pounds. Mm-hmm. Now, if you cut your hair, you cut your toenails all year, and the amount of skin you shed each year, that you're pushing the boundaries. Yeah. You're losing weight. So it's very, as you say, it's really important to
be clear.
Otherwise, it happens in a way that we haven't perceived it to happen.
Yes.
So you will be actually doing what you said, but just not in the way that you perceived it to happen.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And that's really important. Go ahead, love.
No, because I was going to say, because people, they do beat themselves up about not doing it. But then I think sometimes people have to look at what's happened in their life, to find out that they actually are doing it. But then in seeing that they can do it, even though they as you said, they haven't made a smart goal.
Mm-hmm.
They've just said it, and things are happening. And they're actually getting what they want. It's really important to be able to see the power in the fact that if they've said it and they haven't actually put much emphasis on it and it happens, how much more would happen if they actually do put emphasis on it?
As in like conscious awareness, not just conscious, but
right.
awareness that's attached to the wanting of what they want.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I agree, Liv. I agree, and this rolls into, your goals need to be. They do. I call them Smart J. I call them Smart J, and based on who we are, and how we socialize, and might I add, not only here, but for me, in spirit, in the spirit world. Let me just digress here. You have people who are truly, like the social butterflies. And in spirit, they're this way too. They know a lot of other spiritual selves there too. And then you have the people who just adhere to a very small cluster. This is how they are in spirit too. Yes, they know other people. Yes, they interact. And it's a totally different vibe. But this is who they are. Fundamentally, who you are never, ever changes. You actually add to the cachet of who you are. But, an oak tree started out as an acorn, which was an oak tree. It never changes. Things are added unto the tree. Leaves, more acorns, more leaves, birds' nests, all sorts of stuff. But the fundamental root of the oak tree doesn't change. The energy is still the oak tree. And that's the same with you. I was speaking to somebody because I'm bossy. My niece, Davina. Sabina. Slip of the tongue there, right. Both of them, most probably. And she said that, she's really bossy. And she did say that. I'm not just saying that. She did say that. And I said, well, so am I. This is who I am. Because Sabina said, when we were talking the other day, Liv, she said, I've always been like that from a little girl. I'm like, yeah, I remember when you all did the
kangaroo call.
Yeah, the kangaroo call. I mean, how old were they? They were young.
So little, very small.
Because David was on trial for some infraction he did. He was on trial. Michael was some bloody prosecutor. Sabina was the judge, and Davina, I don't think she was the executioner. But I want to say she was the executioner, and he had done something, and Mum, actually that was Mum who said to them, okay, set up a court. And Olivia, they were young.
Yeah, they were, so yeah.
They were young, because at the end of the day, when I left there, Davina was 5. Or no, yeah, was she 5? Yeah.
I actually thought
younger.
I thought, because Sabina was a baby in arms when you first went to Holland.
When I was living in Holland,
you and Dee were living.
Okay, yeah. No, because they were young, and they set up this kangaroo court, and Dad, I'll never forget. Dad was like, And Dad, he was like, boy. My dad, and you must know, my dad was like, boy. He said, he didn't say brutal. I don't know what the word was.
Yeah.
But that's what his inference were. They were brutal. But that being said, going back to you being fundamentally who you are, you are fundamentally who you are. So for people, don't waste your time trying to be something you're not. Embrace it. If you are the proverbial pessimist, embrace it. Because who you will be hooked naturally to is the proverbial optimist. And you'll be doing each other a favor.
You know what, Wendy? I actually think we are all the personalities and all the characteristics.
I think so too.
But very much, particularly in our formative years, or I don't know, whatever it is. That's when we sort of like the neurons, the synapses. Do you know what? I can't even be bothered. The way that our brain is wired actually takes form, and I think that's when we actually change our character. Because if you look at like most children, they're really happy-go-lucky. Something happens, they'll cry because that's how they feel. 10 seconds later, they're happy, they're laughing. And I think we're all like that. We're all the different characters that we could possibly be. Bossy, submissive. We're all that. But certain experiences in our life actually shape us in a particular way. Yeah.
And actually, no, I cut you off, but because you were saying it shapes us in a particular way, and I said, but then I started to cut you off, Liz, which was wrong. So I apologize for that because you hadn't finished, because I was saying yes, but we weren't saying the same thing. Because where I was going was to say that, yes, we all have those, the characteristics. We all have them. The bossy, the introvert, the extrovert, as they say, the Charles Manson, the person who could kill,
Well, sorry, Wendy, go on.
We all have these traits, but what happens for us is that circumstances come up and we choose to exercise the right to bring that personality trait to the forefront. That's where I was going to go.
Yeah. No, I agree, because I think you have the most extrovert person and they actually consider themselves to be shy.
Yeah, because I'm really quiet when I go out.
And it's the protocols, isn't it? The behavioural protocols within whichever group you're in at that particular moment in time, and that's what you fall back on.
Okay. Yes. So anyway, that being said, spending I don't know 525,600 minutes on trying to change intrinsically who you are, which is never going to change, for me is a lesson in futility, frustration. You become ill, all sorts of things. What do you think?
When do you think it can't change, or do you think if you actually haven't addressed the underlying fundamental emotional issues that are attached to it, that's why the change will never take place?
I honestly believe that if you come out the gate as this is how the energy was formed, you come out the gate, like I came out the gate being bossy, just straight up control bossy. Now I think that things have added to me where I've learned how to, I won't even say temper it, but you know how age wine becomes fine, it's added to the cachet of who I am, so I can see more contrast and parallels, which means that I show up differently in situations. Am I answering your question, Liv?
Yeah.
That I show up differently. So in answer to your question, I don't think people actually fundamentally change. I think they add to the cachet of who they are. But if that cachet is cut away, I'm just bossy. You know, but bottom line, I'm bossy, but I'm nice.
But but then, do you think that was a particular character trait that you possessed as a child? Yeah, and it was something that that's how you got your needs met, or that's how you felt most comfortable reacting in the world. Because one of the things I was saying before was that I think we all come out of the gate, as you said the phrase, with everything. You know, bossy, submissive, actually everything across the board. But then we kind of like pick things that maybe allow us to have our needs met, or that we feel comfortable in being at that, how that is, or however that is. Yeah, and that's the point I was making.
All right. In answer to that question, answering the question that way, yes, that's where I feel most comfortable, is being bossy. That's where, that is my comfort zone. Mm-hmm. As we say, we come out, we do have everything. Although I do believe, Liv, that there are certain character traits that have the edge over the others.
But then is that because in whatever way, as I said, I'm going to repeat myself, it was the most predominant way
to get my needs
met. Found, to have your needs met. I mean, you know, there will be other people where it's, you know, not being like that, because all kids are really, really bossy. You know, you take Jaden now. It's like, you know, he wants you to get up. He's pulling you by the hand. You know, come this way, do this. Even with Dad, mm-hmm. It's like, oh, he was pulling him by the hand. Oh, do this, do that. Sit in the car. No one can sit in the car but Jaden. Jaden, you know, and he wants everyone to do everything. So I think all kids are bossy. You know, I think we all have, I said across the board, I think we have all have those traits. But I think it's we develop. We use it as a protocol to be able to function in the world, and whichever one, as I said before, is easiest for us to get our needs met. That's the one that we can like hold on to, and also it could be that you know, it's we all even in spirit we all have the traits, but we come through and we hold on to that particular one, and that's the lesson in this lifetime. You know, that's something to learn in this lifetime.
Speaking of past lives, and I don't know how many of our listening audience believe in it, but I most assuredly do, and have had several. In all past lives, even when I was, you know, whatever, even when I was, what do you call it? I don't even relate to that.
Yeah. No, which one are you talking about?
When I just want to say when I was, what's the word when they have you under manners? When them have under heavy manners. See, I can't even say it. When you are
submissive.
No, where you see Olivia.
Subservient.
No, when people are trying to make you that. When they are subjecting you to that kind of thing, because I have never, ever in any life. No, even when I was like that, Liz, I was bossy. I was bossy. There's a thread that runs through me that is really sort of like, no, do this, do that. You know, even when I was getting beat downs, no, do this, do that. Maybe I just haven't grown up, but I do actually acknowledge what you're saying, Liv, about being in this particular life, and this being how to get our needs met. And yes, of course, kids, as you say, are bossy. That's like Heather's little one. Olivia, you know my handbags are always heavy. Mm-hmm. He picked up my handbag, and I thought, well, how's he going to do this? So he drags it across the floor.
Yeah.
I mean, because I thought, well, how's he going to do this? He drags it across the floor, right? And I'm watching, and he brings it, and he brought it to me. So he knows it's my bag, right? Mm-hmm. What he wanted was my phone. He wanted to go in the thing, and he wanted the phone. So I told him no. All right? I said, you can't do that. You're not playing with my phone. And so off he went. And he went to he's got this little thing that he thumps when he just get a beat down and kick it down when I'm angry. But I guess it didn't work because he came back and shoved me on my leg. This was maybe what? I don't know, half an hour later. But one of the reasons he did that is because I told him he couldn't do what he wanted to do. And he wanted to do that. He wanted to do that. But he's a little cluster member. And that brings me back to where I started this. We have clusters that we, and when I say clusters, groups of people who we are, we're like linked to, intrinsically bonded to. And also the energy. We're bonded to that energy. One of the nicest conversations I had recently was with a client, and they've realized, based on having some work done, it was hypnotherapy, that this particular lifetime, and for all those who are a little freaked out by this, this is okay, go get some water and come back, particular lifetime that they're in, they couldn't understand why they felt so detached from everyone. I mean, really detached. Yet they could be in certain places, this is throughout the country and throughout the world, and they'll make eye contact with somebody. And in that brief moment, they know that that somebody and them are from the same place. And come to find out that my client was telling me that they realized that their last incarnation was in another inhabited planet. And so there's not too many of them who are here. And those that are, they're spread out. You know, so I don't know where I was going with all of that. I just
sorry, I find this a little interesting. So prior to them being in their last lifetime, what about the time before that? Because there must have been other, because surely all the time they've been with just a few people, or
no. There are a lot of people where they come from, but not everybody has chosen to incarnate here, right? Yeah, not everybody has chosen to incarnate here. Whereas, like for me, there are a lot of people who I have been with in previous lives who are currently here. A lot. All y'all who listening, that's you. A lot. A lot.
For me, it's no. There aren't many.
No, and I know. The cluster for you is small. That's here. Here. But for me, the cluster's really big, and it always has been, hasn't it?
Yeah. Well, I know you as I have consciousness of this lifetime. Yeah, Wendy, because you always. Where's Wendy? Oh, she's at a friend's house. Where's Wendy? She's here. Where's Wendy? She's there.
You know,
just talking to this woman you don't know her from Adam, having a big old conversation. It's like, come along, Wendy. We have to go home.
Would you say, only Wendy? I go to visit England, and I'm being interviewed by the local MP of Harrow, telling him what a disgrace the bloody Kodak company is, and that it's putting off these fumes, and what can you do about it? Oh, what a life. But yeah, see, I've always been, you know, sort of like outward like that. Outward. But that being said, guys, everybody, in regard to time, and of course your goals. I'm sorry. Let me backtrack. Let me get this sorted first. In creating your goals for the coming new year, it's all about you and your time. It's about you and the time that you want to invest. And when I say time, I'm literally meaning if you want it to be quantifiable, which this is how we resonate. It's one of the things that's true. We do actually resonate with that, or we have been taught to resonate with that, however it goes. So when you create a goal, as we're back to this, when you create a goal that's smart, the chances are that it ups the chance by at least 75% that you will actually complete the goal. The flip side, or the upshot, which is where this really spiraled off, is that you won't do things like beat yourself up. And you see, when you beat yourself up, it has a negative connotation upon who you are that actually becomes timeless. And that really becomes timeless. And you know it becomes timeless because of how you're feeling. You know, when you're feeling really depressed, or you're feeling really blue, or you're feeling really down, if I say to somebody, okay, when did this start? Sometimes they can say a specific incident happened. Okay, and then I'll say, well, after the incident, when did you realize this? And they can't put a pinpoint on it. I don't know. The only quantifiable time I can tell you is this happened. And the rest is, as they say, history. I can't tell you when it started. What I can tell you is that now I'm feeling this. And I do know that I've been feeling this since, I don't know, 2001. Some of the time I didn't even realize I was feeling this. This is when you are immersed in time. I didn't say it had to be good, but this is when you are immersed in time. Everything else falls away. And as Olivia said earlier, you know, sometimes, you know, all of us have lost a day. Well, I really haven't. I'm in control like that, so I don't lose days. No, but all of us have actually, you know, it's like, oh my God, where did the day go? Mm-hmm. My God, what did I do today? I actually said I was going to do da. And, you know, I got up at 7, and you truly cannot allocate what you did with your time. So whatever you were doing with your time, you were truly present in the moment. A SMART goal, a SMART J is this, and this is an acronym. SMART equals specific. For your New Year's resolution, if you're putting it out there, or if, you know, for the New Year's resolution, if you're putting it out there, make sure that whatever it is, that it's specific, which means that it is something that's tangible. It's concrete. It's manifestable to you in a way that you know that it is manifested. Okay? Whether it be in the form of a car, whether it be in the form of you're going to see something come back to you. It needs to be measurable. S specific. M, it needs to be measurable. You know, how will you know that you have achieved or completed what it is that you say that you're wanting? It has to be measurable. Recently, I was doing some work. You know, I was speaking to somebody, and I said, okay, how will you know that you have achieved your goal? And the person said to me, well, I don't know. Well, right there, that tells me that whatever goal the person has put into place doesn't see the ending. They do not see the end of the goal. You know, how do you know when you'll be full? Hey, when I eat all the food on my plate. Or when my stomach tells me. Or when they pry me away from the table. You know, that's how I know. But it's measurable. So whatever you choose to do, it needs to be measurable. And I'm not even really talking about time. I'm literally talking about seeing it done. The end thing, so you can have it. It's tangible. The A in SMART, SMA, is all about being achievable. Guys, is it something that you're capable of doing? And grant you, I believe most people are capable of doing any and everything that they say they want to do. But in the grand scheme of things, in this context, is it something that you are capable of doing? If it's something that you are... Look, don't tell me that you want to perform brain surgery and you faint at the sight of blood. Is it achievable? And with that, I'll back up and say, if this is your true desire, then what you do is you break that down and say, right, I want to be a brain surgeon, but I faint at the sight of blood. What does it look like for me to be able to work in that environment with blood?
Or you know what's, Wendy? It might be the fact that their purpose is to develop a system where they're performing some sort of surgery without the blood.
Amen. So again, it boils down to it needs to be something achievable and capable of you doing, which then just opens the horizon. If you've got an issue with it, it just opens it wide open. It just blows it wide open so that you're not stuck with convention. Yeah? Does that make sense, Liv? Okay, and the R in SMART, SMAR, the R in SMART is make sure it's something realistic. And that something has to be realistic to you, not anybody or everybody else, but to you, given everything else that is going on in your life. But it has to be realistic to you. You know, it doesn't matter if somebody says, oh, you'll never be a brain surgeon. Well, who rocked your cage, Polly? I wasn't actually asking you. I was telling you. That's the other thing. Don't let people tell you who you must be. And I'm telling you, don't let people tell you who you must be. Okay? They don't know you like that. They don't know you. And what's more, they've never really cared to know you, bar what it is that they're wanting from you. So don't let people tell you who you should be. That's another thing. That's a big pet peeve of mine. Don't tell me who I am. Anyway, that's for time. And whatever you do, and here we go with time, whatever you do, it needs to be time specific. Okay? Now, in my notes, I've got like time equals limited. But for me, it needs to be time specific to achieve your goal. You know, I want to lose 20 pounds. Okay. In this lifetime, next 2 lifetimes, when actually are we talking about? When? You know, no, in 2014. Okay, cool. It needs to be specific for you. And the J, Smart J, is for me, create a journal. Write down your successes. Because a lot of times, Liv, we do this. We don't remember our triumphs. Unless they're sort of like right out in your face. We don't remember our triumphs. We move on to the next thing to moan and groan. You know, it's like it's all the stuff that you have done, all the stuff that I have done, all the stuff that you guys, our listening audience, has done. For self, to self, and to help people, places, and things. My focus is, oh Christ, you know, I'm behind on my new manuscript. Like, really, Wen? I'm behind. Well, Wendy, what did you accomplish this year? All the things, most of the things, I take that back. Everything that I had set out, that I had laid out in my, what I am wanting to do, for 2013, I hit it and then some. So what you're moaning about? So create a success journal so that you can map what you've done. And occasionally flick through the book. You know, I've got so many certificates and that, and my clients will tell you my wall grows. And I just used to have them all just shoved into the, you know, like, I don't get it. And sometimes, you know, the envelope would be all torn up, or it would be shoved between two dictionaries on the, you know, on the bookshelf and blah, 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 blah. Oh, yeah, I've got a certificate for that. And then one day, you know what I did, Liv? You should see, the next time I'm in the office and I'm on Skype, I'm going to show you.
Mm-hmm.
I got an I Love Me wall, girl, and it's just growing.
Mm-hmm.
I got an I Love Me wall. And that reminds me of my accomplishments. It reminds me not to beat myself up. It reminds me, and so I suppose this is another thing I'm suggesting, create an I love me something. In my house, I buy oil paintings for that purpose. You know, and occasionally I'll come up the stairs and I remember I got that when I graduated from cosmetology school. I remember that when I graduated from massage school. I remember that when I started my business. I remember that when I made my first X amount of dollars. It's my journey. But it's my journey. It's my journey. So do that for yourself. So the goal, SMART, specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and time specific. And of course, journal. Very, very important. Very important. The other thing that I would like to say is this. Everybody comes here with the same, there you go, that took care of that, didn't it? Everybody comes here with the same 24 hours. Everybody comes here with the same 31,536,000 seconds in a year. Everybody comes here with the same 525,600 minutes in a year. Every access to 1,440 minutes in a day. We all have the same access to 24 hours in a day and or 60 minutes in an hour. And if you don't live somewhere where they use time, we all come here with the same amount of sunrise and sunset. We all come here with the same waxing and the waning of the moon. Within those time frames, whether you're going to use nature as a natural time clock, or whether you're going to use the man-made time, tick-tock, my thing to you is we all come here on the same level playing field. Yet we are all here to experience something different, as is our choice. So my thing to you is, what is it that you are wanting to do with your 31,536,000 seconds? What are you wanting to do with your 24 hours that are in your day? What are you wanting to do as the sun actually reaches different zeniths, or as the sun goes through its cycle to reach its zenith and then starts to descend over the horizon? And as the moon rises, and then as the moon disappears, what is it that you are wanting to do for you in that time frame? You see, every minute, every second, with every degree that the sun moves, with every degree that the moon moves, with the 30 days in a month, or the 31, what is it that you are wanting to do for you? You see, because once that time has gone, once the sun has moved through its degrees and hit its zenith, you can never get that back. Once this 24 hours have come and gone, the key word here is that it's gone. Yes, there are all these theories, like the Philadelphia experiment and all of this, time travel, backwards, forwards, all of that doesn't mean a damn thing. It's about what you are wanting for you in this moment. In reality, it is only this moment that is real. It is only this moment that counts. You have 536,000 seconds. In the blink of an eye, in a nanosecond. Let's divide that by what? 10, a half, whatever a nanosecond is. In a nanosecond. That's all it takes for an inhalation of breath to stop, or an exhalation of breath to stop, so there is never, ever, ever another inhalation. In the blink of an eye, something can be gone. And I mean literally, you blink. The natural response to cleansing the eye, the natural response to keeping the eye moist so that it works, so that your lens and everything can contract and do whatever it needs to do. The blink of an eye. Things change for the better in the blink of an eye across a crowded room. You blink, and there's the love of your life. You don't even know where the hell they came from. There's the love of your life. They see you, and you see them. In the blink of an eye. In the blink of an eye, a baby's head crowns, and so life has been born. In the blink of an eye. And that blink of an eye is a second. And that second is your life. You see, we're really caught up, and we are here in a physical dimension. And we are here in a physical dimension. And so therefore, the physicality, the denseness of where we are is indicative of us being caught up in, and I don't want to say the material world. I don't want to say the material world. But it is very materialistic. Material is matter. And so we are in that cycle. I feel, though, sometimes that we are too into the cycle of materialism or matterism, my word, matterism. Too much, so much so that we don't realize that this material world is as energetic as the spiritual world. It's just its polar opposite. The other thing to recognize is without the material, without the cars, without the houses, without the clothes, without all of this, without the bling, there's no spiritual world. That's God's law. That's a universal law. It's like I spoke about last week. A coin has two sides. We want to see all this stuff in 3 dimension. We want to see it in 4 dimension, the 5th dimension. We are the dimension. We are the dimension. You think you can't see in 3D? Bet me you can't. Bet me you're not viewing life as a 3rd dimension or a 4th dimension or a 5th dimension. And anyway, who says you can't? Who says you don't see in 3D? And who stipulated what 3D is anyway? What do you want to do with your life? And you know, you can do, as somebody put on my Facebook page, you can sit and do nothing. Which is true. It's your time. And what this all boils down to, guys, is it's all about you and your choices. See, for me, time is linked to choice, and choice is linked to time. They are synonymous. There's no difference, really, for me. Outside of, yes, you can quantify, but you can quantify your choices too. Your choices will be quantified for you based on how you feel and based on how they manifest in the material. Based on how you feel in the spiritual, your inside self, your emotional self. Time is choice, and choice is time. The most precious commodity, spiritual commodity that we come here with isn't life. We already got that. We already have that. This is why you're hearing me and I'm able to speak to you. We already got that. We got life. The most is how we utilize the time span. The time span of the manifestation here. And how we choose to use our commodity is based upon our ability to choose for self. Our ability to choose for self. See, again, guys, choice and time for me are synonymous. You can't have one without the other. Quantified. And your time is, as we are in this dimension, quantified and quantifiable. So what is it that you're wanting? What is it that you're wanting? What are you really wanting for you? And do it. You have nothing but, whether here or whether there, wherever there might be, you have nothing but time. Because that's all the universe is. It's time. Time equals energy. The universe or time is energy in motion. And we will always be in motion. So ask yourself that golden question. What am I wanting for the next 525,600 minutes of my life? What am I wanting? What am I wanting for me for the next year? And actually, if that scope's too big, cut it in half. Cut it in half. If that scope's too big, cut it in half. And keep cutting it until you get to, what am I wanting for the next second? What am I wanting for the next minute? What am I wanting for the next hour, the next 24 hours? And when you are able to answer that question and tell yourself what it looks like, then go for it. Don't allow anybody to tell you how to live your life. See, you get to choose that too. You get to choose. You get to choose. You get to choose if you allow people to do this. I'm not saying don't seek advice. And I'm not saying that you won't be influenced. But all of those are literally, you choose. All come here with the same amount of time in a day. Whether it's man-made time or whether it's nature's clock, we all come here with the same amount of time. What are you choosing to do with your time? What are you choosing to do with your time? This is the key. If you're going to make a New Year's resolution, make sure it's smart. If you're setting goals for yourself, things that you have decided that you have chosen to accomplish, make sure it's smart. Make sure it's a smart J. It's your life. It's your choice. And you get to do that. So Liv, is there anything that you would like to?
Yeah, there's a couple of things I'd actually. One of the things, I mean, it's kind of like a little bit superfluous, but I'll say anyway. Sitting is doing something.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that you're sitting. It's like that monk that was sitting in a lotus position. You know, he was doing something. But one of the things I would say, Wendy, the R of your smart, I'm not too sure about that because, you know, very few things, very few events, life experience happen in a parallel line. And it's about, life's kind of like about the branches and the tributaries, that lead you to different places and things and people. So I think in actual fact, in being unrealistic will actually take you eventually to a crossroads that you actually may never have got to if you were preventing yourself from experiencing your unrealisticness. So that's the only thing I would say, because it's about belief. And if you believe you can do it, I think you said that already, then you can do it. So if, the being realistic from my perspective is, it's not, in a way, it creates a brace around what it is that you want to do. It encloses it in a barrier. So the last thing you want to do is sort of like put manacles, because you want to be free. So I think people should just be as unrealistic as they want to be, because it will take them to somewhere that is unreal, and that in itself will take them to an experience that maybe that's where they need to be. And that's the only thing I would say. The voice of the people.
Okay, all right. Well, to the voice of the people, here Omega tell you now, right? No. So with realistic, with the R in the SMART goal and being realistic, I will then qualify and say it this way. Make sure when you set your goal, it's something that you feel you can realize based on the nature of the goal that you have said that you want. Yeah?
Yeah.
Make sure it's something that you can realize. Or at least attempt to realize, given every other situation that is going on in your life.
Well, yeah, even if you don't know how.
Yeah. But that's the whole thing. It's a journey. By no means am I saying that the SMART J is, this is it. It's a journey. Because if you are trying to get to the city where you live, it's a journey. And based upon the roads that you didn't know were being worked on, road closures, accidents, it may mean that you have to take a detour. But you know that you are going into central London to, I don't know, you got the post office tower. You know this is where you're going. That's the end goal. That's set. You know that this can be realized. You know that's specific. You know that it's measurable. Because you'll know it's measurable, because once you have arrived, your goal's done. It's measured. It's measurable. It's a tangible. Is it achievable? Yes. You're capable of doing this? Yes, you can walk, you can take the train, you can take a bus, you can take a helicopter. Yes, it's achievable. Is it realistic? Is it something that can be realized for you, given everything else in your life? Time specific to achieve your goal? Well, you said you wanted to be there by 5. And, your GPS can do the journaling and map your success. You have arrived at your destination. So, yeah, I do understand what you said, Olivia. Let me just get that about not putting somebody in the box so that they don't, for all intents and purposes, as Teresa says, I say think outside the box, and she's like, what box? So that
they're free. It's freedom.
Yeah, so they're free to do what it is that they want to do. So, guys, I don't want you to think that I was, with the word realistic, putting you in the box, because it's not. It's not. It's about the realization of you doing what you need to do or what you are wanting to do.
No, you did say it's realistic to the individual. You did say that, and it's irrelevant what anyone else thinks. You know, if you say, okay, well, I want to fly to Mars or whatever it is, that's your realization.
Because that's where I was going with that. So because you said there was something else. Anyway, you were saying there was something else.
No.
No. Oh, I thought you said there was another bit. All right. All right. So that being said, then I've got a question for you, Liv. What show was the highlight for you this year, and why?
I think the show that was most poignant for me, I think, was the one we did about the no being that you're finding your power in the no or the yes, and I think because I have implemented that and I have seen results with it, and I think that's why for me it was the most powerful show.
Okay, all right. Actually, I have to say that because in listening to the show, as I actually listened to it, I was like, wow, this was really good. I enjoyed that. This was really good, and I learned something from it. I learned something from it. So for me, that too was a powerful show for me. I think my two favorites. Well,
you said one. I had two. That's not fair.
Oh, stop bloody whinging. Honestly, okay. What was your other one then?
Oh, No Man is an Island.
Okay, all right. Okay, so to the recents, yeah? Yeah. And
I think those are recent epiphanies, so it's like...
okay. Yeah. All right. Okay, so for you, No Man is an Island, and... Oh, let me write this down. No Man is an Island. Is an island. You left me... Was that one you left me singing by myself? And no.
I told you.
Oh, let your yeah be yeah, and yeah, you were singing in your head.
That's right.
Yeah. Okay, so for me, yes and no. That for me. And what does your eulogy say about you?
Okay.
What does your eulogy say about you? Those two shows for me were really powerful. Many of the other shows I loved, but those two were important. They were important. There are things that as I actually scroll through, I'm looking at, what point? What is the point of choice? That was a title, and of course I did a lot of stuff about my, like the green smoothies, and is there such a thing as failure? The mystical power of I am that I am. Actually, that's another show that I actually liked, quite as it's kept. Freedom to be. How do I get to know myself? What are you eating? When all is when wrong is really the right way. All of these. Do you believe or do you believe? Are you a believer or are you just, a believer? Or do you really believe? So as I scroll back and as I look, and some of these were like 9 months ago, a year ago, almost a year ago, no, actually a year ago, what's in the armoire of your mind? That's another one. Last year, this time, 12 months ago, unwrap the 12 gifts. Unwrap the 12 gifts under your tree. The 12 gifts of life. Creating a foundation, how to become a better me. the oneness that is all things. Surviving, or are you just survival, or are you just surviving? You know, so some serious titles, some serious titles. You know, some serious titles. So that being said, for me, you know, what does your eulogy say about you? And that's important. That talks about everything that you are going to, your eulogy talks about everything that you are going to do for you. Everything. It's all about you. And that's what life is. It's all about you and your choices. So I'll say this. Liz, is there anything that you'd like to say? Because I'm going to get ready to wind it up and let him go. Pumpkin, Liz.
Sorry. Yeah, there was something I wanted to say, but I can feel I'm going to start faffing because I haven't got it down pat in my mind. But have you got a lot of time or not really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
all right.
yeah.
Because
You've got
today,
2 minutes. No, please.
I better speak really, really fast. I was because I have a mat, like a rug,
Mm-hmm.
and underneath the rug is it's like tiles,
Mm-hmm.
and it's not particularly slippery.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know where my mind was going today, but I was thinking, oh, you know, I could. It's not going to happen, but you know, it's possible to actually slip on the rug, fall, you know, hit my head.
Mm-hmm.
Wendy, I had a weird. It's like I was crossing the road today, and I looked both ways. There were no cars coming.
Oh, that again.
But inside my head,
Uh-huh.
I saw a car steaming towards me. You
Again?
know, it's in vivid colour, and I was like, okay, well, anyway, across the road. So I don't know what that was about, but anyway, as I was saying, and I was thinking, yeah, I could trip, fall, you know, smack my head, and you know, be sort of like out. And I was thinking, well, what stops that from happening? You know, because there are people that it happens to. You know, you can watch, like, be in the foyer of a hotel or something like
Mm-hmm.
that, and watch people trip over a rug. Some will trip,
and some won't.
you know,
yeah.
And what actually stops it from happening? And I was thinking, well, maybe it's just fate. And I got to thinking, well, is there such a thing as fate? You know, or is it that we actually have the control over what happens,
Mm-hmm.
which I do think we do.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of people believe that things are fateful. You know,
Mm-hmm.
it's destined to happen.
Mm-hmm.
And then I started thinking, well, if things are destined to happen, what is the point?
Exactly.
There's no point. That means we're just minions for something else. You know,
Mm-hmm.
we're like chess pieces that, you know, something is saying, okay, well, you know, checkmate and all that. So I lost my train of thought. Yeah, so it was actually just coming to the realization that, you know, that me personally, I actually don't believe in fate.
Mm-hmm.
I think that it's a conglomeration of events and thoughts and actions that create whatever it is, you know. And I think the difference, relying on fate, is kind of like being a minion. And I think realizing and appreciating how much power we have over each and every second of our life is actually is actually the process of living.
Is anything else coming?
No, that's what I was thinking about today.
Okay, and I agree with you, Liz. In regard to, I truly don't believe in, you know, a fatalistic approach to life. Random things don't happen. Things actually happen based on a sequence of events that you, me, us, we, y'all out there have chosen. Okay? Nothing happens without an action that has preceded it, and an action that will be at the end of it. Okay? in regard to, like people, like you gave the scenario of people walking, and you can sit in a hotel and watch them walk through the foyer, and some will trip over the rug and others won't. And it's like, okay, well, why did you trip? And when you said that, what I thought to myself was, I wonder what was going on in their life where they were trying to get their attention about what was going on.
That's right. That's right. That's right. That's right.
And so they tripped. As in life can trip you up, they tripped. But you see, most people will trip and they won't even give it a second thought other than this bloody rug needs to be yada, yada, yada. And yes,
once again,
go ahead. Once
again, in actually thinking, it's something to do with the rug, it takes the emphasis off of themselves, and it actually gives their power to the environment, as opposed to actually it being something that's internal and actually showing them, what's going on in their life.
And it gives them an opportunity to create what they want in their life. And one of the things that you actually said here, Liv, is time is consciously being aware of our time and then working with time so that our actual interaction with time, as we have put our constrictions on it, becomes timeless, becomes effortless, is a source of empowerment. It's a source of empowerment. Time can either empower or disempower. When you got to punch a time clock and you're on that grind every day, you got to punch that time clock, or your husband and your baby are looking at you, what's for dinner, Mom? You got these issues going on. Time can then become something that feels very disempowering. If you're actually feeling disempowered about your life, my suggestion to you is take a look at what you are choosing to do with your time. What are you choosing to do with your time?
And also something that you said before, what is tripping you up?
Yes. It's important. All of those things are important. All of those things are important. Because at the end of the day, it rolls right back down to you. It rolls back. It begins with you. It ends with you. I think this was 2 years ago. That was the foundation of everything that we worked on the radio show. You are the common denominator in everything that you do, and everything that you do is a relationship. Whether you're sitting in a chair, you're in relationship with your underwear, you're in relationship with your toothbrush, everything is a relationship. Relationship is how you relate to something. And it's actually how real that something is to you. So for you have time. And I agree. I wrote that down in my little orange book. What is the point of destiny? Because that's definitely a show in the making. What is the point of destiny? And, getting back to that, I know, Liz, for me, at any rate, I know we are all destined for one thing. We're all destined for one thing, and that's to make a transition out of here. And this is whether you do like that monk did and was whatever he was doing, and or, you go the route of most people here until such time that we either evolve past that or whatever it is we're going to do. Everybody is leaving here pretty much the same way. The vast majority. And that's our destiny. And I've always believed that. That's our destiny. That's the end of the track, the end of the train. We're getting off here. Oh, you don't want to come out. You're going to have to, you got to get off. You can't stay here. Because you see, all of this has disappeared. All of this has returned to whence it's come from. So what you going back to? You can't go back. You cannot go back. So for me, that's destiny. Everything else in between lives. I'm like, that's choice.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's choice. That's choice. You know, the person. Okay, the person who chose to change their seat on the airplane that crashed. And in my mind, I know this is true. There's a story out there about this. And the plane crashed. We got the sole survivor, and it wasn't one of them little jets that, you know, those little things that people like to fly. Those Cessna things. Yeah. You know, it crashed, and this one lady, she's hanging from a tree in the in her chair, hanging from the tree, and was very much alive. You know, broken bones and stuff, you know, but very much alive. And the thing was, she changed the seat with somebody. That person chose, yes, to move so they could change seats. There was a choice that went on. The person who she wanted to trade seats with or wanted to trade seats with her, she could have said no. Or she could have said yes.
That's right. And what you're saying about the relationship, I mean, there's a relationship right there between herself and the chair.
Yeah, there you go.
Because she herself and the chair. I mean, she was the common denominator.
That's right. That's right. And for me, you know, that speaking of which, well, that show was two years ago. The common denominator, I think that was 2011 January. That kicked off 2011 January, if I'm not mistaken. That to me was one of my most powerful shows. The common denominator, it's you. 360, you are in the middle of that, like the eye of whatever is going on in your world. Whether it be peaceful, whether it be calm, whether it be it's you. It's you. It's you. So, my darling, is there anything else that you'd like to share? Anything that you'd like to say about the yes or no, Liv? We've got about 10 minutes, so I figure we may as well use it up. The yes or no show that was powerful for you, and No Man is an Island. Anything that you'd like to recap and let the people...
The recap that I would do on the yes or no is about finding your power base, which whether you're a yes person or a no person, and by yes person I don't mean yes sir, no sir, 3 bags full. I mean whether actually it was you who said that you know, an event can occur and someone will say yes, 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 or they will say no, 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 but it's a good thing, you know, not necessarily. Yeah. And from you can figure out whether your power base is yes or no, but that is your strength. That's your strength as to whether how you want something to manifest in your life. It can, because I'm a no person, and that is what I use. You know, if I want something to happen, what I have to do is envisage the opposite happening and say no and mean no. But somewhere in the back of my mind, I have a visualization of what I do want to happen. So I suppose it's a two-way. I suppose it's like you say, you know, it's the other end of the coin. I'm seeing both. The one that's actually facing me is the one that I'm actually looking at is the no. But I can also sort of like maybe turn the coin sort of like on its sides and look at the other side, and I can see the yes. So I can see both scenarios. But the most powerful for me is the no. I do not want this to happen, and I'll say no, and I'll mean no.
Yes.
And what I'm finding out is things are changing. Things are changing drastically for me.
Yep.
Since I figured out that my power base is no.
Yes.
And I think I think it's really important. I think it's really very important. You know, the no is something that we are socialized invariably not to say, and invariably not to say, because we don't want to hurt people's feelings, or we want to conform and all that sort of stuff. But it's such a powerful word. It really is. It's the difference between, for me anyway, getting what I'm wanting in my life, as opposed to for me, if saying yes, seeing a visualization of what I want and saying yes, it doesn't work for me. It doesn't work for me at all. It's imperative that I see what I don't want and say no, which is weird, because you normally think, okay, well, to see the negative, that's just it, I suppose. Maybe that's telling me it's actually not negative.
It's not a negative. It's not a negative
at all.
It's not. And you see with yourself, Liv, and with myself, and for others out there who can do that, and they operate from this. When I say no, I mean no. And when I say no, and I've said no, I already know what I want, because I can see it. Like you said, the duality of the coin.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
When I say no, it's cut it off. That energy, it means that energy has been cut. It has been severed. It's a done deal.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And I can move in the direction that I want. So I can definitely appreciate what you're saying. There are people who will say no, and the thing is, with that, guys, okay, where I'm going with this is, it's imperative not to focus on what you don't want. So when you say no, like I just said, for me, when I say no, I'm not doing that anymore. And that can be, I'm not washing the dishes, I'm not doing this, I'm not going here, I'm not doing that anymore. And I'm not going to invest the energy on no, I'm not going to do that. And, the last time I did that, this happened. I'm not talking about that kind of no.
Mm-hmm.
No, is this what you're talking about, Liv?
Yes, indeed. Yeah, that's right. You're saying no and you mean it. No.
It's a done deal. It's like if anybody's ever smoked, when you put a cigarette out, when you, as them say, when you hold the cigarette, when you put the cigarette out, right, it's done. When you turn the fire off under the pot, it is done.
Mm-hmm.
Moving right along, you take the pot off and you eat the rice or whatever. If you know not to go with the rice, put a little butter in it and keep going.
Mm-hmm.
It's not no and then you lament.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
No. So, Liv, real quick, about a minute, no man is an island.
You start.
No, that was your show. That wasn't my show.
I know it was your show. I'm trying to think.
No man is an island.
You're ad-libbing. Well, you're ad-libbing. Where did that come from?
No, no man is an island. No man stands alone. Yeah, well, I wanted to do what, but you weren't. I know you were doing it in your head. I keep forgetting.
Yeah,
sorry.
You never get that.
Silly me. Stupid. Silly me. No man is an island.
Well, the conclusion we came to was that every man is an island.
That's right, darling. Every man is an individual. They're an individual, and yes, we interconnect. People can hop onto your island and hop off. You can hop onto other people's islands and hop off. Yes, it's all like a giant jigsaw puzzle, but like a giant jigsaw puzzle, you are a piece in this universe or the grand scheme of things. But you are a lone piece. But as you fit into the surroundings, or as the surroundings fit into you, a picture is painted. And or you can have that lone piece and just be okay. No man is an island. We are all individuals. And that's what that show was about. We're individuals. We can only be the individuals who we are.
So we can only be an island.
That's right. That's right. What does your eulogy say about you? Well, your eulogy will say what you want it to say about you. Your eulogy is your, as they say, your carbon blueprint, footprint. Your eulogy is what you have accomplished in your life. So, and it's the highlights. People take the highlights. And those highlights are usually what you have done to assist people and the triumphs, your personal triumphs that they've seen you make. And your eulogy is all about you. So for you, what is it that you want to be said about you when you make your transition? So that being said, guys, I would like to thank you from the bottom of my heart, from the depths of my soul, for the support that you have given both Olivia and myself over the last, next year when we come online, it will be 5 years. It has been a phenomenal journey where I have learned much, not only in regard to some of the scientific information, because I actually do research for the shows. It might not sound like it, but I actually research the shows. But the research that I have done, and larger to that, the personal growth that I have experienced. Many of the things that I have experienced, I could not have done without you, or it would have taken me infinitely longer. Liv, 20 seconds, anything that you want to say on your behalf?
No, like you, Wendy, I mean, I have learned so much, and it's amazing how in doing the show, how much information actually comes through while you're actually doing the show. And it's so imperative, even for me, you know, to listen, to go back to the shows, to listen, so I can learn.
So you can learn.
Yeah, so I can learn, because I mean that's what it's all about, you know. It's about
learning and growing. Yep. So on that note, Liv, thank you so much as always for the support. I love you, sis. You've always had my back. I love you. I love you. I love you. Thank you to my husband, Dee. The wind beneath my wings always has my back. I love you, Dee. I love you, audience. And I'll say this: may the universal light illuminate your pathway, so every step that you take is taken with an assurity, knowing that you have made the right choices for you. May God bless you and continue to bless you and yours now and evermore. I'm Reverend Dr. Wendy Dearborne. Thank you so much for listening to My Life, My Choice. Happy New Year. We'll be back next year on the 8th of January. Thank you.
Okay. Happy New Year, guys. Woo!
Woo! No, listen. Woo!
No, guys, that's your way.
You guys just don't get up under it. Tracy, wait, Liz. I've got about 10 seconds. Tracy put on a video, and it was really early in the morning, and she had to cut it off. She said it was just too bright. So, woohoo! Happy New Year's. Happy New Year's, guys.
New Year.
We're out.
Bye, guys. Bye.